Show with Southeastern's head football coach, Ron Roberts, on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. It's your chance to hear directly from the head of Lion football. The Ron Roberts Radio Show is sponsored by LA's First Choice Auto Auction, Track, Topola, Bloomberg & Associates, Mealy Printing, and the Crescent Bar. Now, live from Topola in downtown Hammond, here's Alan Waddell.
This past Saturday, Bethune-Cookman came to town and handed our Lions a heartbreaking loss in the home opener. After trailing early, Southeastern rallied from a 14-3 deficit and took a lead into the fourth quarter. The final 15 minutes were certainly eventful as both teams traded the lead and ended with Southeastern being stopped on fourth down in Bethune-Cookman territory. Obviously, 0-2 is not the way Southeastern wanted to start the season, but now it's imperative that the Lions regroup as conference play starts this weekend, as Southeastern will battle the Central Arkansas Bears. Good evening, Lion fans. I'm Alan Waddell, and I want to welcome you to the Ron Roberts Radio Show live from our home, Topla Catering, right here at 113 East Thomas Street in downtown Hammond. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be with you till 8 o'clock. Over the next hour, we'll get Coach Roberts' thoughts on the home opener against Bethune-Cookman, and then turn our attention to the Central Arkansas Bears as our Lions will open conference play in Conway, Arkansas this weekend. Let's take a timeout. When we come back, I'll be joined by the head coach of your Southeastern Lions, Ron Roberts. Listen to the Ron Roberts Radio Show on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
In Southeast Louisiana, one luxury automobile dealership stands apart from all the rest, Mercedes-Benz of New Orleans. It's more than just offering Mercedes-Benz vehicles, it's Star Service that prides itself on customer relationships.
From valet service and Mercedes-Benz loaner cars, our customers enjoy award-winning Star Service. Come see what Star Service is all about.
Visit Mercedes-Benz of New Orleans on Veterans in Metairie or at mbofno.com.
What does it mean to be Southland strong?
It's not just big wins.
It's success in the classroom
and being engaged with service,
family, passion,
integrity,
overcoming adversity,
hard work and dedication,
bettering people around you,
striving for excellence,
leadership and competition
on our campuses
and in our communities.
We are Southland strong.
All right, welcome back to Topla Catering here in downtown Hammond. This is the Ron Roberts Radio Show. Thank you so much for joining us. Certainly, on this date, we always have to remember 9/11, 16 years ago, where 3,000 Americans were lost in that obviously cowardly act by another country. But certainly our thoughts and prayers on 9/11 with the great United States of America. And at this time, we're going to welcome to the show the head football coach of the Southeastern Lions, Coach Ron Roberts. Coach, thanks for being here. I know Saturday didn't go the way you wanted it to go. You lose a heartbreaker there in the fourth quarter, have a chance at the end. Give us your general thoughts on the game on Saturday against Bethune-Cookman.
Yeah, it was probably a game, more missed opportunities than anything. I think we had our opportunities, we had our chances. You know, you talk about defensively, I think we had him in the grass probably 6 times on sacks. Didn't get him down. You know, we get in a ball game at 16-14, and obviously that's kind of what you want as defense. You know, and then offensively, you know, there's missed opportunities. We get, you know, 3 times in the red zone, we kick field goals. You know, we get the ball, you know, we get a turnover inside the 10, and you know, those things. You know, they'll haunt you. You let somebody hang around long enough, and it gets. Now, I don't want to take any credit away from them. Bethune-Cookman, I know a lot of people aren't familiar with them, but they're a good football team. And obviously, that quarterback had a heck of a night. You know, it was very elusive, tough to get on. We struggled, obviously, open the gates up beginning of the game, you know, and we go down and they we get 14 points. And then we settle down, and I think we're fine. I mean, we stop them the next 9 drives, and then you know, thought we're clawing way back in and getting ready to get a little momentum, and then just don't shut the door, you know. And it was more of a game of missed opportunities. And like I told the team, you know, hey, there's always lessons, you know, and if you learn from the lessons, then they're not always negative, you know, but you got to learn from them. You can't continue to do the same things. We made a lot of mistakes. Again, we cleaned some things up. Some things got better. I think our coverage unit, first punt wasn't very good. We got better. The things we've been talking about. We did do it right in the preceding punts, and that was better. Our kickoff coverage was better. We make a huge tackle inside the 10. That's what, you know, guys doing their key, reading their keys and doing what they're supposed to do, and that's going to happen. So there was some bright spots in those things, and you know, which there always is, but just not enough of them. And again, I don't think we didn't play as consistent as I like. I don't, you know, again, I think way too many mental mistakes across the board, both sides of the ball, and those are things obviously you got to clean up.
Ron, I got to ask you about Lorenzo Nunez. Did not play in this game. I don't know how many of our fans didn't realize he wasn't going to play, didn't practice all week. You go with Donovan Isom at quarterback. Talk about you know, where you're at right there going into this week, and talk about Donovan's performance.
Well, Lorenzo, hopefully he's going to be healthy and ready to go. Well, he's still he's hobbled up from the UL game. Got hurt in there in the fourth quarter or in the third quarter. No, it was in the fourth. In the fourth quarter versus in the UL game. Sprained an MCL, so you know that's kind of a day-by-day thing. So we'll see tomorrow. He's going to get a chance to run around a little bit, and we'll see how good he is and where he's really at. And that'll take from that. We'll take where we're at in our quarterback spot.
Ron, it was certainly 2 different games, the first 2 games of the year. You know, really that first game, it was back and forth, offenses moving the ball up and down the field. In this one, after, like you mentioned, after the first quarter, it really was a defensive game. You know, really a lot of field position into this game. What was the difference this week as far as running the football? We had so much success against UL, had some big runs in this game, but not quite as consistent running the football this week as we were a week ago.
Well, it was a little different. You know, obviously Bethune-Cookman really they loaded the box up and played man, and everybody was within the 9 yards line of scrimmage and kind of dared us to throw it. And if you can't throw it in those situations, it makes it difficult to run the football. You know, we ran the ball, but obviously not as successful as we would have liked to have had it. And you've got to be able to throw the football and be able to back them up and stuff, so you can do that.
Ron, it seemed like a week ago against the Raging Cajuns of Lafayette, they were really concerned about stopping the quarterback run game, and this week it was almost the opposite. They said, hey, we're going to stop the running back game.
Yep.
Donovan did pull it a few times and had some nice runs, but is that just I mean, am I calling that right? It seemed like they were more
yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. They, you know, like I said, they played a fourth. They had 7 guys in the box, and they're committed to stopping Eugene or whoever tailback, whoever was running the ball, and they were kind of loaded up on that part of it. You know, probably had some opportunities in the option game. We could pull the ball out and get it on the perimeter. Probably had opportunities to get some big plays, and it just didn't happen.
Ron, unfortunately, we've been here before. We were 0-2 sitting here a year ago, and we were able to win 7 out of our last 9 down the stretch. So no panic time. I mean, it's obviously a concern whenever you start the season. A game that you feel like probably could have won here on Saturday. Actually, both games now you look at
Yep.
didn't happen that way. But you go up to Central Arkansas this week in open conference play, and certainly your room for error is a lot smaller.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we start now, you know, and I kind of told the team that last night was, you know, ideally, yeah, we'd love to be sitting here 2-0. We're not. But either way, I'm telling you the same things. You better forget the last 2 ball games because this is conference play, and now we're playing for everything. So, you know, it doesn't really change our approach to this week. You know, hopefully it's going to fuel a little bit better to make sure we got to make a little more sense of urgency to to correct some things, get some things better, and then we got to get some guys still on the field. I mean, we still had a young man, our starting corner, still didn't play, so we haven't played two games now. It's just dealing with paperwork with NCAA. I don't know why it's taking so long, but it is. And then, we'll hopefully get him on the field, and that will help some things as well.
Coach is referring to Busby, one of our corners, and he's a Canadian. Is
Yeah.
that correct? Is that some of the hold up?
He's a Canadian, so obviously their high school is different, so they're trying to verify his high school graduation date, but they've had the transcript for over a week.
Ron, let's talk a little bit more about Bethune-Cookman as a team. I thought they came in here, had a good team. Their quarterback played outstanding. I know he was very elusive at times. Like you mentioned, we had a chance to get him on the ground. They had some good receivers. I think this is a good football team. I think later on in the year we're going to look back and say, hey, you know what, that was a pretty good team, I think, when these records start shaking out.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was, by far the best team we've seen throw the football in a while. We knew that going in. They had 3 really good receivers. And really came in there early. Obviously, the first 2 drives, 17, we can't cover him. There's a bright spot on that. I challenged Mayor Ellison. Can you handle him? Yes. So I said, well, you're going to travel with him. So we put Mayor Ellison on 17 and traveled him for the rest of the ball game. And basically, he did a great job. I mean, he kind of eliminated him and pretty much took him out of the game until a couple there in the fourth quarter, which actually he wasn't on him when it happened anyway. But I thought he did an excellent job, and those are bright spots. You always look for those times when certain kids are going to elevate their game and step up, and I thought he did a great job of that.
A couple other bright spots, obviously, in this game was caused some turnovers on defense. We're able to make some big plays and cause some turnovers. We didn't do that against ULF yet the week before, and the kicking game's been very strong so far. Burkhardt kicking field goals. He was 3 of 3 in this game, and also perfect on extra points to this point.
Yep, I thought we did a good job of kickoffs. I thought we did a good job of punting the ball again. We averaged over 41 yards punting. Ivy Wall did. So there's a lot of positives on that. Special teams, where we returned the kickoff for a touchdown was big. So we've shown the explosiveness there, special teams wise, to get some things done, and we just got to keep that rolling.
All right, well, let's go ahead and take our first break. We come back, we're going to have more right here on the Ron Roberts Radio Show on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
Renday's Quick Stop is a proud supporter of Southeastern Athletics. Located at 306 West University Avenue in Hammond, right across the street from campus, Renday's is conveniently open 24/7 and serves hot Greek and Lebanese food. They also have great snacks for those late-night study sessions. They have friendly service and a wide assortment of wine and beer for all your needs. Stop by today and line up.
All right, welcome back inside Topla Catering, as this is the Ron Roberts Radio Show, as we're breaking down Southeastern's last game this past Saturday against Bethune-Cookman. We'll get you ready as conference play opens this Saturday in Conway, Arkansas, as the Lions will travel up and take on Central Arkansas on the road to open up conference play. Ron, let's jump back into this one and talk about this game against Bethune-Cookman. We'll kind of walk through it, talk about some big plays on both sides of the football for your club. And really, you win the toss and we took the football. That doesn't happen very often since you've been the head coach here, and you decided to take the football. Talk about that decision a little bit. You usually defer.
Yeah, I usually do defer. I thought it was important, really, because, again, we did have a new quarterback going in. I wanted to get as many possessions. If we get that extra possession in the first half, I thought it was important for us.
Ron, you kick. We end up getting, I think, 8 or 9 on first down, and then aren't able to convert, and we have to punt the football to those guys. And we have those. I think one of the big storylines in the first quarter was we had them in some 3rd and long opportunities, and they picked up a couple of them there in the first quarter on us.
Yeah. A couple of them are busted coverages, but some of them were just. A couple of them were just really nice throws and nice catches too. But there was some breakdowns. There's plenty of them. On 3rd down, there's a couple. He scrambles for one. There was a miss. 2 or 3 of them are actually busted coverages. Yep.
Ron, when you're calling defense against a guy like this, and again, I want to highlight their quarterback because, good player, but he played outstanding in this game. I think everybody that walked out of the stadium said, man, that guy was good, because he was. It was a great individual performance by him. Yeah. And how hard is it to call a defense against a guy that, very rarely in college football do you run up against a guy that can move around and make plays with his feet, but then also sit back there whenever you decide to play coverage and make tight throws into tight windows, and he did that in this game. How do you balance? Whether you try to come get him, or do you sit back and try to play coverage?
Yeah, that is probably the whole thing right there. What you're trying to get done. Again, we started out early, was trying to contain, rush him, make sure we didn't, keep him in the pocket, let him throw. Just don't let him out, don't let him scramble. But obviously, when you're doing that, you're giving him a little more time, and he made some nice throws, so that didn't work. So, then we really in the second quarter, you see us come after him a lot more man. We're coming 5-man pressures, and when we hit him a couple times, then we just didn't get him down. But that was it, trying to just keep him from scrambling, trying to keep him, and couldn't give him that much time because obviously he was getting comfortable in the pocket and was making some nice throws.
Ron, compare this group of receivers we just faced against, and again, this is a group of receivers that is as good as anybody we're going to play all year.
Yeah, as a core, no doubt. Those the 3. Well, I can say the 4th, but the 3 of them were. We knew that going in that they were going to be pretty exceptional. I don't know if in Southern Conference. There's always some special guys in Southern Conference, and probably I would compare them maybe to Sam Houston. Sam Houston's got about 4 guys right now that can really go. And I would say they're kind of in that. I don't know if they're in that category yet, but those 3 are probably be as good of a tandem we'll see probably until later on in the season.
Ron, I know you had to be disappointed in the first quarter, especially. We had an opportunity, a couple of jobs offensively to finish some drives, and couldn't do that. Had to settle for some field goal opportunities. Yeah, and again, there was probably some times we got in 4th and short, and I elected just to take the points. There was obviously a time there when they went 14 was do I push it, and we were trying to make those decisions. We're going to push this thing and get it, but I thought it was most at that point to make sure we got the points and go away with come away with at least 3. Again, those are things. Again, you're hoping that you got to find ways to convert the ball on 3rd down, make sure you continue the drive alive, and be able to get it in the end zone, get 6 points out of it. Ron, I'll tell you, just from watching as a spectator at the game, whenever you fall behind 14-3, and they really had everything working in that first quarter. They had over 200 yards of offense in the first quarter, and you almost look up and as a fan say, hey, maybe we might get run out the gym here. Because they were hitting on all cylinders right there. So then when you look later on in the game, and we have a lead in the 4th quarter, if you'd have told me right at that moment, hey, we're going to be leading in the 4th quarter, you'd probably have taken it. What was the difference? What happened defensively, schematically? I know they had some penalties where they hurt themselves, but we really slowed them down for a majority of the game after that first quarter, and actually held them to a pretty good percentage on 3rd down. They weren't very good on 3rd down in this game after that first quarter.
Yeah, I thought one of the big thing obviously was Mario Ellison going on 17, and he basically shut him down. So it took a lot of their number one guy and their big threat, and the guy that he caught, he probably had 6 balls in that first 2 drives for about close to 100 yards. And that was a big part of it. And then, we were able to slow the run, stop the run game and things like that. And, I think really when you talk about late in the fourth quarter, what's the difference? The difference is, we took like about 87 snaps on defense. And I think, honestly, because we were in such a tight ball game and it's this early, there was several guys that we didn't rotate freely because, we're really concerned right now about are they ready for this, this pace of a game. And honestly, you go back, I wish we should have rotated them in there, even how tight it was, because our guys got tired.
Unfortunately, as well, the way this game kind of started, where we fall behind early, we had a good crowd on hand. It was a very festive night there in Strawberry Stadium. Kind of took the crowd out of it a little bit early, I thought, in the game, because they maybe got hit with a couple of haymakers there to start the ball game.
Yeah, no doubt. I think there's probably a lot of people were shocked. I mean, a lot of people don't know who Bethune-Cookman is or what they're capable of, or what their history and what they're traditionally are. They're an 8, 9, 10 win team every year.
We talked about it on the radio broadcast. For those that don't know, Bethune-Cookman, I think a year ago, went 4-7. Before that, they had a run from 2007 where they averaged 9 wins a year. I mean, so this is a good football program that came in here, and they had some very good players, and certainly, I just think whenever sometimes in FCS football you hear some interesting names like Bethune-Cookman, like
people
don't realize
where are they from?
Yeah, exactly. They don't know who that is, but when you look at the roster and they have all these guys from Miami and Daytona Beach, I mean, they got some good football being played over there, no doubt about it. Ron, one big play in the first half is we get a turnover right deep in their territory. It looks like they have an opportunity. I think we get a big fumble recovery and get a very short field. And you hate to say what if, but if we were able to punch that in for a touchdown right there, the game might be not over, but the game might go a different direction because everything was going their way. We get that turnover, and we have an opportunity to really tie the football game right there.
Yeah. I mean, you never know when there's usually 4 or 5 plays in a game, especially in the tight ones, that can usually swing it, and you don't know when those are going to occur. And sometimes they occur early, and sometimes they're obviously in the fourth quarter. And but it was a pretty big swing when you get it. I think we got the ball on the 9-yard line, didn't convert. That's again, just unfortunate.
So we're 14-9 at halftime in this one. Actually, do a nice job there, kind of the 2-minute drill, and get the ball back with just a minute or so left and give us an opportunity to throw one in the end zone. I know that's always a plus at the end of a half to be able to put up a Hail Mary and an opportunity just to be able to put some points on the board at the end. It didn't work out. It got intercepted, but still I thought that was positive, that you get the ball with not a lot of time left. You convert a few plays and give yourself an opportunity to throw it in the end zone there at the end of the half.
Yeah, I mean, it was big. Hopefully, wish we had a little more time. At least we could have got down, at least got another field goal or something, got in range. It was a good opportunity for us this time actually to get in that situation no matter what. That was good, for us to work that situation as many times as possible. Because more time you do it, then obviously the more comfortable you are when it happens again.
I think maybe one of the questions I had, and I know a lot of our friends don't get there for warm-ups and things to that nature, but what's Burkhart's range at this point? I know that he has been outstanding so far, kicking field goals early in the year and on extra points, but do we have a range?
I mean, I think he's really good inside of 40. I think he has hit, 47. He's hitting over 50 in practice. But I would feel comfortable taking a shot from anything from 50.
I'm just asking you that question because at the end of the half, I'm trying to do the math, in my mind of where do we need to get to give us an opportunity to kick a field goal here, and that's kind of where that question derives from.
Yeah.
So the Lions were trailing 14-9 at halftime, and again, if you watch the first quarter of this one, if I'd have said, hey, it's going to be 14-9 at half, probably would have taken it because that first quarter, Bethune-Cookman could really do no wrong on offense. They were running up and down the field. Great job by our defense. To be able to slow those guys down there in the second quarter and keep this game a one-possession game going into halftime. Let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about an eventful second half right here on the Ron Roberts Radio Show on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
In Southeast Louisiana, one luxury automobile dealership stands apart from all the rest, Mercedes-Benz of New Orleans. It's more than just offering Mercedes-Benz vehicles, it's Star Service that prides itself on customer relationships.
From valet service and Mercedes-Benz loaner cars, our customers enjoy award-winning Star Service. Come see what Star Service is all about.
Visit Mercedes-Benz of New Orleans on Veterans in Metairie or at mbofno.com.
Across divisions, sports, championships, and schools for nearly 500,000 student athletes. College sports create lifelong opportunity, and that starts with education. We've raised the academic bar, so more are earning degrees, creating healthier campuses by working with the nation's brightest minds, and making sure more have the chance to succeed and are supported on their journey. But beyond the numbers, it's about opportunity, and we're working to provide it for every student athlete.
All right, welcome back inside Toplock Catering here in downtown Hammond. I'm Alan Waddell. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Ron Roberts Radio Show as we're talking about the Lions game this past weekend. The home opener against Bethune-Cookman dropped a close one there in the fourth quarter against a good football team out of the MEAC conference that came over here, and certainly the Lions will have to regroup this weekend as they go on the road and take on Central Arkansas as we open up Southland Conference play. It's hard to believe that the conference has gotten so big and expanded that after 2 weeks you're already going into conference play this weekend against the Bears up there in Central Ark. Coach, let's talk quickly as we'll kind of wrap up the game against Bethune-Cookman, talk about the second half of this one, as it was certainly an eventful second half. The third quarter was kind of quiet, but then that fourth quarter certainly was exciting as it went back and forth in this game. But the second half probably couldn't have started any better. You kick off to them because we took the ball to start the game. We get a big turnover right there to start the third quarter and give yourself an opportunity to take the lead. Yeah,
it was a big play advance. We get a sack, hit him from Sione Tuhume. I think Max was in on that one too. Hit him from behind, and I don't know who got it.
I don't really remember either, but it was certainly a great play. One of the few times of the night we were actually able to get to him and make a big play like that. And you get the ball back, and we march it right down the field and score. Eugene Bethea had some big runs on that drive as well. I guess what was the difference there in that third quarter? And right when we started out that drive, just seems like we were able to. It looked like the offense from a week ago. We were able to just kind of walk the ball down the field, running the football.
Yeah. It's about execution. You guys came out and I thought they did a really good job on that drive and punching the thing in and taking care of business.
So we go up 16-14 at this point. It's obviously way too early to start trying to go for two or anything like that. You just take the extra point. You don't chase points early in the game like that. I know some people were probably wondering why you don't try to go up by 3 there, but early in the game you don't chase points.
Right.
So Ron, we'll go up 16-14, and I thought this was a big stretch of the ball game as we really had them figured out defensively at this point. They turned the ball over another time where Maori had a big interception, but we had an opportunity to maybe extend it and get it out there where we could maybe have a 2-possession lead, and we never could do that. And I know that that's something that had to be disappointing for you.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's we talked about that Sunday night with the guys that you have opportunities, and I thought we did. We had opportunities on that drive. We had opportunities a couple times really to get off the field again and give offensive ball back faster, and in better field position, and just don't do it, And again, when you do that, obviously you're not going to pull away from people, and you're going to be in a dogfight.
I do want to talk quickly about your defense again. When you look at this, Ron, they started 3 of 3 on third down. We've held them to 4 of 13 on third down for the remainder of the game. So, you think if you hold them to 1 of 13 the remainder of the ballgame on third down, obviously doing a pretty good job against an offense that was certainly multiple, can do a lot of things. So, I mean, that's got to be a positive when you come out here, being able to get off the field when you have the opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, it was for a lot of times, again, but there's, I don't, there were several, I was probably now 6 other times we should have got off the field a lot sooner than that, because whatever, we either missed a tackle or we still, missed a sack or had opportunities there to get off the field a lot sooner. And that's I'm trying to explain to the guys that all those yards add up, whether it be, give them 30 yards and then you get off the field as opposed to going 3 and out and get off the field. And you put an offense in a lot better field position and opportunity to go score.
You talked about the number of play differential. We run 59 plays. They run 77 plays. It was a great night for football. We don't get a whole lot of nights in South Louisiana, especially early September where it was as cool as it was. But still, early in the year like that, having to go out there for 77 snaps has got to be a challenge for your defense.
It was. It was, for most of the part, most of the guys were pretty good. Because we did have. I mean, you talk about some of those like I've talked about several nights because I'm really pleased with how he played. Man, Ori, he played every snap. He never came off the field, and he's really pleased with how he did. And a lot of our guys were real. I mean, they weren't real tired. I mean, they were tired. Obviously, as the game's wearing on, but they weren't asking to come out and stuff. They were ready to go.
You've talked about Maori a lot in this game, and he's certainly a guy that stands out because he's so tall. You don't see a lot of tall corners like that, and we saw some flashes of it a year ago. But man, he's turned out to be a really good player here. And I know it's only 2 weeks in. We've had some good corners here at Southeastern, but he's a guy that's really coming to his own here early in the year.
Yeah, he's a great kid, and just he's intelligent and he understands things. He's really taking on coaching. He listens to everything you do, wants to do it right. And he's a young man. If he continues to play like he is, then he's going to continue to play football.
Ron, let's talk about that fourth quarter. You go into the fourth quarter leading 16-14, and this is when it gets a little exciting, certainly, in the fourth quarter, as they were able to put a drive together and put points on the board and take the lead with a 2-yard touchdown pass from their quarterback in for a touchdown with 11 minutes to play. And one of the highlights of the night for your team was special teams. Certainly, you mentioned him in the preseason show, Jean Petit-Frere, that is going to be able to run the football back on kicks. And we haven't had a kick return in a while, and it was nice to see that. A 92-yard kickoff return really electrified the crowd and gave us an opportunity to take the lead back.
Yeah, it was a great run. There was some key blocks in that thing. Obviously, our backup backs did a great job of getting their blocks, getting the kickouts and stuff, and it was really good to see. Again, we haven't returned a kickoff in a while, and it was nice to get out there and show that we do have the ability. I thought we did. We think we got the right guy at the kickoff return spot, and he's going to get more comfortable every week. And if we get the unit as a whole to really make sure we're buying in and being consistent with everything, then we're going to have a real threat every time somebody kicks us the football.
That's certainly an element that a few years ago was with Xavier Roberson. That was obviously a big plus of whenever you played us. That you had some fear to kick the football deep, and hopefully that'll happen again here in 2017. Well, Ron, they were able to put a drive together. They were kind of aided by some penalties on that last drive, set them up in some better field position. It was really a tough situation as well because we're leading by 2, so a field goal would have gave them a lead. So you're trying to keep them outside of that 30-yard mark. And I forgot to mention that actually in the first half we actually blocked a field goal. That was a big positive in this game as well. Yeah. But take us through that last drive a little bit that they're trying to drive down there, and they get it down there on like the inch line, and then they're able to get the ball in with a quarterback sneak.
Yeah. Again, there was probably about four or five plays on that drive that we had breakdowns, and so it's unfortunate we got there and put ourselves in that spot. I think earlier in that drive we got them in third I don't know, was it 3rd and 12? We have him at 3rd and 12 and have a sack and got him there, and we don't get him down, and he gets up and finds a guy and hits somebody for a big play, and again, we shouldn't be on the field right now, and those are lessons learned. They're trying to tell us those are lessons learned about again, making sure that you got them in your grass, you got to take them all the way to the dirt.
Ron, how hard is it for a defensive player? I mean, there's just so many rules now protects the quarterback. I mean, I know that, how hard is it, to I mean, you want to bring them down, but then you don't want to get a roughing the passer penalty or anything. Right. Is that something you'll talk about? Is anything? I mean.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, you have to talk about that, again. So we got 2 personal fouls on that drive. We got one out of bounds. I said he was out of bounds, and we hit him. And then another one, a guy, he's throwing the football and he dives. And but the rules now is if he's in the pocket, and you hit him below the knees, it's a personal foul. So I mean, it is what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so hard. I mean, I just think about I wouldn't want to be a defensive player. It's hard in 2017 right now and where football is at all levels because the quarterback is so protected and you almost don't know the rule. I mean, you have to talk about the rule, but it's one of those is how do you hit him? You can't hit him high, you can't hit him low. It's certainly difficult. And then earlier in the third quarter, I mean earlier in the second half as well, something I didn't even bring up that we need to talk about is we almost lose Max Lyons. He gets called for a targeting foul, but thank goodness that they have the review. Yeah. They reverse it because this is me talking. Yeah. I hate that rule because if he gets called there, I mean, he's out next week. The first half against the Central Arkansas game. Yeah. So certainly it was a big overturn there that we kept Max in the football game, and he'll get to play in the first half this week against UCA.
Yeah, they're kind of calling that rule now, just so everybody knows. They call it basically tell them the officials because you have instant replay. They tell them if in doubt, throw the flag.
Okay.
So they're saying if there's any question, if it's a target, they're told to throw the flag. And then let the review officials sort it out. So you get a lot more targeting calls now because that's the way they're told to do it.
I want to just ask your opinion on this. These games, just because of all the reviews, they just feel like the games are getting so long. I mean, it feels like our game, we were 3 hours in and we were just starting the fourth quarter. I mean, I know that conditioning certainly got to be tougher for your kids now because the games are just lasting so much longer. Yeah. And I know the officiating, what they're trying to do is they're trying to get it right. And I understand that. They're trying to get it right. But I know that I think that's something that I think that's going to be revisited in the next couple of years as the length of college football games right now. It's just games are lasting so long.
Yeah, well, they talk about it every year, and they're trying to find ways to speed it up. And so I mean, they're trying. That's why sometimes out of timeouts and stuff, they cut you down, and they're trying to make sure the guys are lined up. Before when the timeout is done, they got to be lined up on the field, ready to go. So there's a lot of rules on those things too. Also, they're trying to do things to speed it up as much as they can, I think.
And another thing that slows it down is television, which you obviously want to be on television. It's big. It's good for the program. It's good for the conference. But it does slow the game down a little bit. And I thought there at some points in that second half it kind of drug out a little bit, especially on some of those reviews. And again, I'm not criticizing that because they're trying to get the call right, and that's the rules in place. But I think that that's something they're going to have to revisit over the next couple of years is the length of what's going on right now in college football, how long the games are lasting. Ron, let's jump to that final drive here for just a moment. And I just don't think that there was anybody in the stadium that didn't think we were going to go down there and score and win. I mean, we've had so much magic at home and so many opportunities since you've been here that we just find a way to win those games. And, you look up and there's a couple of minutes left and you're on the 50-yard line, and then we get the pass interference call. We're down inside the 35. And you just feel like, hey, okay, let's do this thing again. It just didn't work out that way this time.
Yeah, again, I thought there was some missed opportunities on that drive. We misfired on a couple passes, and so we I think we had the guys open. I think he had the right calls, just didn't execute right. And again, those are things we'll work on, and we'll get better, and we'll make sure that obviously next time we're in that situation we can get it done.
I know that you had all 3 timeouts left. We're able to hold all 3, and we've seen you go out there and get a stop. You get the ball right back and give yourself an opportunity. It didn't work out that way as well. They were able to pull off a big run. I know that had to upset you because they really didn't run the ball well the entire night. No. But then on that possession, that happened, so we weren't able to get the football back. and we dropped this one 28-23. And just being down there on the field, I know a lot of your players, were upset. Obviously, you play the home opener, you drop it to a good team, but certainly a team that you think you can beat there.
Right.
I mean, you have an opportunity. If you play well enough, you can beat that team. It just didn't work out that way. I mean, how do you? I mean, you did it a year ago. You were 0-2 at this point. We go 7-2 down the stretch, and give yourself an opportunity to get in the playoffs, and give yourself an opportunity to compete for a conference championship. What's the message in the locker room after the first two games, trying to get this thing going in the right direction this week?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is right now it's still about I think every year we're saying the same thing. It's about us right now, and us cleaning things up, and again, there's guys on our team that we got to get them in the can-do category. So the same thing after week one, and when you get more guys in that boat, then guys aren't playing tired, and guys are fresher in the fourth quarter and closing games out. But until that time, comes, and that's why it's nice to be able. Sometimes it's nice to play an easy, but an easier opponent that you're going to win, because then you get the guys to get those game experience, come on in and play, and a lot of people get to play, and you get to put them in live action. You get to evaluate them, make sure so that they earn the opportunity to do it again. And then being in two tight ball games like we were, we still have some question marks on several guys on our squad.
And certainly you have an opportunity, though. You lose both of these games, but, man, you're in close ball games, and I think these are experiences that can help you later on in the year.
Yeah. I mean, I think, like I said, everything's a learning experience. It depends on how you handle it. If you tuck your head and say, well, woe is me, well, then you're going to have problems on the road, If, again, no matter what, we're going out to practice Tuesday, and we're going to get better, no matter what happens. So it really doesn't change our approach, doesn't change what we're doing. We're going to do the same thing. Here we go, no matter what. So, I think our guys are going to handle it the right way. I think they're more than anything, they're disappointed. I think some of them are embarrassed by how and we just got to own it together as a football team. As I said, nobody point the finger, and everybody make sure we're on the same page. And there's nobody in the room, including myself, that just things you could have done better. What could we have done better to change the outcome of that game? And then that's what we got to focus on this week.
Ron, before we turn the page on this one, I know you've had a chance to watch the tape, break it down. Anybody jump out? Any players have a good football game we didn't mention here so far, or any that kind of stood out to you in this game against Bethune-Cookman? Yeah,
I mean, I think there's several of us that did. Javon Connor, was nice to see him get back on track. I thought he played a really good football game. Obviously you talk about Javon's kickoff return. I think you talk about our kicking already. You already mentioned those things. I think defensively, Lee Spite played a really good game. It was nice to see Carell Vaughn probably played come in and played one of his better games. I talked about Mary Ellison early already. I thought Jeff Williams, a free safety, I think he played well. So there's offensively, I think Kyle Strickland came in, the offensive tackle, had one of his better, played really good, a lot better than he did the week before, which is nice to see. So there's some guys that really, Damian Dawson, young man that plays a fullback, tight end role for us, played a good ball game. So I can go on and on. There's plenty of guys that played well, played a lot better. They got a lot better than they were the week before, made drastic improvements, and that's what you're looking for,
Yeah, certainly so. As we're gonna turn the page on this one. Lions drop a tough one, 28-23 to Bethune-Cookman, but trying to regroup this week as they're going to play Central Arkansas this weekend up there in Conway, Arkansas. Let's go ahead and take a break, and when we come back, we're going to turn all of our attention to the Bears of Central Arkansas right here on the Ron Roberts Radio Show on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
Renday's Quick Stop is a proud supporter of Southeastern Athletics. Located at 306 West University Avenue in Hammond, right across the street from campus, Renday's is conveniently open 24/7 and serves hot Greek and Lebanese food. They also have great snacks for those late-night study sessions. They have friendly service and a wide assortment of wine and beer for all your needs. Stop by today and line up.
NCAA Division I FCS football is a game of perseverance, integrity, passion, character, and sportsmanship. As he works to honor the game, every FCS student-athlete grows in his responsibilities as a student and as a member of his campus and community. Dedicated to personal growth and success in the classroom, the NCAA Division I FCS, every down, every day.
All right, welcome back inside Topli Catering. We have about 15 minutes to go on our program. Thank you so much for joining us, as this weekend our Lions will open up conference play on the road in Central Arkansas. It's a 7 o'clock kick. I think they're actually maybe saying 7:15 up there in Conway, Arkansas. So take the ride up there if you can. If not, you can always listen right here on the network to the Voice of the Lions, Mark Willoughby. Let's talk about Central Arkansas for just a moment, Coach, and certainly out the gates in the conference play. You get a very good football team, one of the favorites in the conference when you look at the preseason rankings, and a team that certainly has improved the last few years. A year ago, they were 10-3 and were a playoff team, and just call it like it is. They roughed us up here in Hammond. They played very well in that one. So certainly you're going to take on a very good football team this Saturday night.
Yeah, they're a very good football team. They're probably a little better offensively. I don't know if they're as defensively. They were tremendous last year. They graduated several of those guys, but they're really good on defense. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I don't know if they're as good up front as they were last year, but if not, they're really close. I mean, they're very good. Kansas State, they're 17-17 at the half with them. Kansas State really couldn't run the football. And then they went up and beat Murray State pretty single-handedly. I think it was 31-6 at the half.
Yeah, 31-6 in the half. They have a you look at their roster, and certainly they have a lot of the pieces that you would look for when you look at a team that is going to challenge for a conference championship. And certainly they have an experienced quarterback. Hayden Hildebrand does a a good job for them. He's a big, tall kid. He can run and throw a little bit, but does a very nice job commanding their offense. Talk about him.
He does. I think he's an excellent quarterback. He extends some plays. He makes a lot of things happen. Doesn't make too many mistakes. Doesn't make very many mistakes at all. But can deceive you a little bit because he is elusive and can run, and he can create a lot of things with his feet too as well, and does a great job of throwing the ball on the run, and he's got always eyes downfield, so he takes off running. I mean, he's still looking to throw. So I think he's very good. I think they got a couple of really good running backs. Offensive line's typical UCA the last couple of years. They're big, physical. They do a good job of running the football. And that's where it's going to start with them. They're going to try to run the football and control the line of scrimmage, and they're going to then when they ask him to throw it, he's going to be pretty efficient when he does it.
And Ron, maybe that's a little bit different than what we faced the last couple of weeks. And not that UL didn't want to run the football, but UCA really wants to come out and try to get it going on the ground first. I mean, when they're good, they're running the football, running play action, and certainly that's what they want to do.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, they're committed to it. I mean, obviously that's what everything's about. They're committed to running the football, and I don't expect it to be anything different. We're going to go up there, and that's the number one task we've got at hand. We've got to be able to stop the run, and and be able to obviously contain the receivers too, because they can do a good job and they flip the ball out there, and they're a quick game, they're a quick passing game and screen game and that stuff, and you got to do a good job of always defending that as well.
Ron, what makes their defense as good as it's been the last couple of years? I mean, they were exceptional a year ago on defense. I know that they don't really get crazy; they just kind of stay there, and they were really good against the run. I know last year we had a really hard time running the football.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's players. I mean, the guys they've had and the guys they got again. I mean, they're really good. They start the way they recruit up front. Their defensive linemen are really good. They're talented individuals, and they're tough to block. So it's going to be a huge challenge for offensive line. I mean, it's going to be a huge challenge because, there's not a lot of people that have been able to run the football on them in the last couple of years. And I don't know where they finished last year. Last year, they were one of the tops in the country in rush defense. And they're starting out this season like they haven't dropped anything off.
I know now it's a little misleading because they had some sacks and quarterback run came off, but I think against Murray State they only gave up 1.6 yards per carry against the Racers. Now, one thing that's interesting about this game, Central Arkansas has opened up their season with their first two games on the road. Like you said, they went to Manhattan, Kansas to play Kansas State, and then last week they went to Murray State. So this will be their home opener this weekend. So I'm sure that they'll have an excited crowd because they're a top 25 team. I think they came in at number 14 in the poll this week. So they're a top 25 team right now in the country. And they're playing really well. And they went 10-3 a year ago, went into the playoffs. The last time we were in Conway, Arkansas, was a very, very tough game in 2015 there at the end of the year. Dropped that game 21-16. it's always a challenge to play up there. They have that weird turf with the stripes and the purple and gray and all that. But certainly you're going to run into, I would think, a feisty atmosphere going up there on the road with them being their home opener since they haven't played at home yet this year.
Oh yeah, it should be a great environment. I would think it is. I would think that they're very excited about their program right now and where they're headed.
There's no doubt about that. Ron, what do you want to see this week from your club? I know there's a different message. Ever since that you've been here, whenever you go into conference play, it's almost like a switch has been flipped. I mean, your record here since you've been at Southeastern has been tremendous in the conference, but certainly not a whole lot of room for error because now if you're going to win this league, usually the winner of the league doesn't have more than 1 or 2 losses in this thing.
Right. I mean, it's a big game to start out on the right foot. No doubt. I mean, biggest thing we got to do is just, as cliche as it sounds, we still got to focus on ourselves. We can't beat ourselves by making mistakes. We can't do that by mental errors and missed assignments and things like that. We can't do that. We've got to be able to function. We've got to be able to click, and we've got to be able to be very efficient at the things we do, and do them well. And that's a big. I mean, that's the whole message we're going to be preaching all week long.
All right, Ron, I got a couple of questions that some people have sent in for me today, and I want to ask you. Here we go. Coach, this one says, Pete from Hammond says, Coach, anything you can learn from starting 0-2 a year ago is going into this season?
That I don't like it. No. Yeah, I mean, it's a message we've sent to our kids, before. I mean, I don't know if people remember this too, but in 2013 we lost on the road to TCU and then turned around and went up to South Dakota State and lost that one as well.
We were 1-2 in 13.
Yeah, we were 1-2, and same message. Guys, it's about us, and take care of your own business. And if you do, good things are going to happen. If you don't, well, we got to have a sense of urgency, correct some mistakes, and get after it. And I think that I think we got a good football team. I think we have the capability of going out. We got the capability of running the table. I think we got the capability of winning them all. But in order to do that, we got to take care of some things. But I expect us to be much improved this week than we did last week, and we need to do that. I think our kids understand that. There's always the sidetrack thing that happens. We had a little heart-to-heart on Sunday. It was about, quit listening to the press clippings and quit listening to everybody pat you on the back all last week and tell you how good you are. Because I think there was some of that took place, and you got to come out and work no matter what. I don't care if they tell you you're great or they tell you you stink. It doesn't matter. I mean, you still better come out and work. You can't listen to other people. You got to come out and take care of your business.
Ron, you mentioned it. Following up on that question, starting 0-2 a year ago, and I mean, just call it like it is. We've come out the gates a little slow, a few times. Yep. Really, since you've been here at Southeastern, the best start we had was 3-1. And that was our worst year. That was in 15.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, we've been here before. You certainly can turn that thing around, and your team is always a team that plays better as the year certainly goes on. You want to be playing better at the end than at the beginning.
Yep.
And that's kind of a question I want to lead you into is the fact that, I mean, I know that we have no say over it, and certainly the Southern Conference has done they've decided they want to expand this thing, and there's a lot of teams. But, it's hard. Week 3 of the season, you're in some meaningful football games now. There's no preseason, and you look at, even McNeese and Nichols played week 1. I mean, these are some games that's going to be played this weekend that could determine maybe the conference race, and it's happening already in week 3.
Yeah, I mean, but there's plenty of them left. We're going to have 9 of them to go, and one's not going to break it, but I don't know if that's going to be this one. You know what I mean? You don't know when it's going to happen. So they all count, and they're all the same, and it doesn't matter who you're playing. They're all for you. It's like old school, grade school. You're playing for all the marbles on the table, and we're going to do it every Saturday. And you just got to be prepared, and that's the grind of the Southland Conference is kind of college football. Is that every week when you go out, anybody's capable of beating you if you don't execute and take care of your business. It don't matter. I mean, it's all over college football. You see it for decades that somebody underdog comes out and beats somebody they're not supposed to, and we talk about it. If you want to be good, if you want to be good as a football team, you want to compete for championships. There's a couple things you got to do. And I said, you got to win the ones you're supposed to, and two, you got to win the close ones. When you get in these situations, you got to find ways to get it done in the fourth quarter, and you got to come away with W's on those things. You got to get it done on the stretch, and then somewhere along the line, you got to beat somebody you're not supposed to beat. And so, I mean, that's the nature of if you want to be a winner and you want to compete for championships, that's the way it goes.
Ron, another question comes in. Devin from Amite says, Coach, seems like our quarterback had success running the ball early. Is that something in the second half they took away?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's probably some situations there that maybe we didn't get it blocked right or didn't do the things we're supposed to do and didn't get the ball pulled when we're supposed to pull it. But obviously we didn't get him free on the perimeter in the second half.
All right, well, thank you so much for those that send in questions. And again, you can send in questions every week. You go to lionsports.net, click on football, and send them in. They'll come straight to my cell phone and also right up to the broadcast table, and I'll read them aloud. Also, you can always tweet us. He's at Coach Ron Roberts. I'm at Alan G. Waddell. You can hit us up on Twitter right there. Coach, we just have a couple of minutes left here in the program. Again, I know you're disappointed with starting out the season 0-2. Again, no disrespect to Bethune-Cookman. They have a really good football team, and I really believe that when we look back at the end of the year, they're going to have a very good record. I think they have a chance to have a very good team.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. I think they're a 9-10 win team. I really do. 8-9 win team.
Yeah.
But after saying that, it was a game that you played at home. You had an opportunity in the fourth quarter, didn't get it done. But now you open up conference play. And I'll just ask you, you have a confident football team right now. Do you feel like these guys believe they can go in there and win this weekend?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously we got to have a great week of practice, and we got to get prepared. You got to lick your wounds, and you can't feel sorry for yourself, but that's part of it. I mean, when that game's over, we watch the film Sunday, it's done. We got to move on to the next opponent, and like I said, that was going to be the same speech no matter what. So it don't matter. You can celebrate the victory, but you better be done come Monday morning, because we got to get focused, and this is conference play, and you need to elevate yourself, and it's time to quit talking about things and just get things done.
Coach, give us kind of your final thoughts here of the night as we head into conference play this weekend. Again, I think they're saying 7:15. A 7:15 kickoff at Central Arkansas this weekend.
Yeah, I mean it's a great. I mean, I love the, you want to be able to face the, it's not just a conference game, but you're going to face the whatever number 14 team in the country. I don't know. That's kind of why you put the pads on. I think that's why every young kid plays the game. It's an opportunity to play in a big, and it's a big game coming out the gate because it's not only conference, but you're getting a chance to play a ranked opponent. And, I think our guys are excited to get back on the field. I think our guys are looking to redeem themselves. And, I think we're going to do it versus a great opponent. Obviously, we're going to have our challenges. And I'm looking forward. I think forward to our guys hopefully growing this week. I think we're going to take a huge step forward as a football team.
All right, well, that's going to do it for us. Thank you so much for joining us. We want to thank Topoli Catering for being our host each and every week. And, again, we'll be here on Monday night. So, again, this is our first Monday night for the year. We'll be here every Monday night from 7 to 8 o'clock. If you hadn't had a chance to come out this year, come on out. As that's going to do it for us, I want to thank everyone who gets us on the air, all of our affiliates on the network, as certainly our Lions look to start out conference play this weekend 1-0 against the Central Arkansas Bears. That's going to do it for us. For Coach Ron Roberts, I am Alan Waddell. We will see you next week right here on the Ron Roberts Radio Show on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. Line up, everybody.
You've been listening to